And we're live.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you, man? Hey, Zach.
Hey, good morning. How's everybody?
Good.
Good. Good morning, everybody. Jumping in here live in several Facebook groups and on the YouTube channel. So welcome if you're joining us live. We're going to stall for a minute or two while we let people kind of find the links and load in, and then we'll jump right into the content. So if you're watching with us live, we'd love to have you say hello. Tell us where you're watching from. Give us a little shout out in the comments, and we'll jump into the content here in just a couple minutes. I think we've all got stable Wi-Fi signals, and Kyle rebooted. Zach moved. I've got a Zoom session going in the other room with somebody else, so we'll see how this holds up. But yeah, all right. Kim said hello. Hello all. Nick said excited for this workshop. All right, cool. Kim and Nick, thank you for chatting with us. Aiko said hello from Toronto. All right. Canadians in the house. Very cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, give us a little chat comment if you'd like before we jump in here. We'll start in just a moment. Andre said, good morning. All right.
Y'all equals Texas.
Y'all.
I get it. I'm in Alabama, so yeah.
Ed said hello from Oxford, PA. Eddie said, hey, guys. Yana said hello, Southern California. All right. We are rolling here, people. Well, why don't we go ahead and pull up the deck? We've got a busy hour. We do have a hard stop because we've got a small group that starts right at the top of the hour. So why don't we jump right into it together? And let me pull up the deck, and then we'll get going here. All right, everybody seeing that? We good? Philip said, good morning. Tupelo, Mississippi. All right. That's not too far from you, Zach, right?
No, it really isn't. I have a good customer near there.
All right. Very cool. All right. Well, let me kick us off. Welcome, everybody, to the Profit Habits pre-event webinar, where we want to walk you through the details of Profit Habits workshop that's coming up, share a little bit insight and perspective about the importance of profitability in your business, what we've got pulled together for you as a community. And we're going to have some great content in this session as well today. I'm joined by Kyle and Zach. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Yep. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do just a few minutes of introduction to let you get to know Zach more, and Kyle and I assume you know, but we'll do our little intro as well. And then we're going to talk about the profitability journey that we are all on, all of us. And then we're going to talk about the single biggest challenge in every business, the 7 consequences of low profit, and 4 solutions for low profitability. And then we're going to open it to the floor, Q&A time, and answer questions from the community. And then, of course, we're going to explain a little bit more at the end about the full Profit Habits workshop, which is coming up this coming Monday and Tuesday. It is a 2-day workshop, virtual, of course, these days in the time of COVID. But we're going to have a great time this next week, and that's what we really want to make sure that you understand the detail on. So should we jump into it here, guys? Happy to just mention Jason Miles, happy to be your Sherpa through this exercise and your coach. My e-commerce brand is Pixie Fair. My wife and I started it at our kitchen table in 2007 as an eBay business, and then migrated to WordPress. And ultimately, since 2013, we've run on Shopify. We've facilitated over 5 million downloads from our site, and it's a marketplace that serves people in the sewing industry. We've had close to 3 million transactions through our Shopify store, and we love Shopify platform. We also run a brand called The Happy Gardening Life. It's primarily an influencer brand on Instagram. And then the passion of our hearts and our growing emphasis in our life is our charity that we started in 2010 called So Powerful. It's a ministry in Zambia. We have 64 people on staff. In January, because of a large grant, we're adding another 38 people. So we'll be close to 100 folks here in the next month or two as we scale up. And we're really excited about the effort there. So that's a little bit about who I am. Kyle, you want to go next?
Yeah. So I started my e-commerce journey started a few years ago with Amazon. I have Lita Art Supply, which is a art supply We sell primarily sketchbook journals for artists in both Amazon.com, but we also sell in all the European markets and in Japan as well. And then also have Old Boy Longboards, which focuses on selling ceramic bearings primarily to longboarders and skateboarders in that niche as well. So it's been on Amazon for a couple of years now, and it's been a fun journey.
Love it. Zach, how about you?
Yeah, so I'm Zach Martin. I'm out of Birmingham, Alabama. I'm a CPA by trade. I started Yellowhammer Toolworks. Everybody kind of refers to us in the industry as Yellowhammer. Started in 2015 out of my garage, $1,000. It was a tax season bonus from the accounting job I was working at the time, and we've grown it exponentially. We've done over $20 million in lifetime sales. We're mainly an Amazon operation. We have a retail store in town as well. We sell our brand, Yellowhammer Toolworks, Yellowhammer Turning Tools, Yellowhammer Precision Tools, serve wood and metal workers mainly. And really in the last year, we also have gotten really close with some of our reseller accounts, some of the brands we work with, and actually helped them develop some products now and have lots of exclusives on the Amazon platform. And we run a really low margin, high sell price business. Some of our margins are less than 10%, but some of our products we sell retail for more than $2,000. So we're kind of an outlier on the Amazon platform, and we've kind of found a way to make it work.
Yeah, love it. Well, it's really an honor to be able to work with you on this workshop. To be honest, Zach, it's been fun to reconnect. We worked with you a couple years ago on your Shopify site and the growth of that part of your business, and it's just fun to be able to circle back. And what I always described you as to other people when I would say, "Hey, we have one client, and he is just amazing," I would always basically say, "You're the best financial operator we've ever seen." And that's true. I mean, I've never worked with somebody who had the finances of their business on such lockdown. And you were teaching us stuff the whole time, we were helping you with your Shopify work. But the truth is you've just got that mastery and trade skill from your prior practices. That's just it's a beauty to behold. And you do run on a business model that's a relatively low margin model compared to many others. I know that at least back then you did. Now you've migrated to private label more, but when we worked with you and it was all wholesale, that's a lower margin operation. So you had to be financially disciplined. And so that was it's fun to behold. And now it's fun to work with you. You've started to work as a virtual CFO for a few of our clients as well, in addition to this workshop. And that's been really awesome to see sort of your skill set unlocked in other people's businesses. And so really the impetus for this whole workshop is to, kind of bring together the 17 profit habits teaching that, I had worked on. And I'll be honest, I was nervous when I put my workbook, 17 profit habits, in front of you, Zach, and said, here's my list of 17. What do you think? And I was pleasantly surprised that you affirmed it, and you were, thank you. And so, but it was a little bit like, what's Zach going to say? And so that's the impetus for this whole effort. And we really are passionate about it because, Kyle and I have worked with coaching clients for 3.5, 4 years now. And profitability is frequently a big challenge.
Yeah.
Usually people don't work with us if they don't have high sales velocity. So they usually have high sales velocity, but not always profitability. And so that's really why we're pushing into this information so much and really focused on it. And we're excited about it. So let's keep going here. I'm going to advance the deck here if I know what I'm doing. Yeah. So I'm going to just take this part of the conversation and then let you guys jump in on the next steps as well. But feel free to speak into this. The profitability journey, in my view, is really the exercise that all of us go through as entrepreneurs. And frequently we start our businesses with a personal profit motive. Personal goal or hope. We want to make money. We want a side hustle, or we've got things organized and we want to launch into our own entrepreneurial endeavor and come out of it with changed life, or supplemental income for a while, or full-time income to replace our 9-to-5 job. We all have that primary journey that we go on, and the journey goes like this. Step 1: get sales. And we've all been there. It's like, the first thing you've got to do is figure out, can you sell something? I wanted to sell something for 10 years and never knew what to sell. From 1998, when I heard about a guy who was making $1,000 a day on the internet, until 2008, we really had no strategy or plan. And then we moved into eBay. And our journey as it relates to profit, I think is important to mention. The first year we were in business, we only sold $12,000 of total sales, no profit. I mean, it was like, we didn't even know back then. We figured out at the end of the year, we had no money, no profit at the end. Second year, same thing, $12,000 in top line sales, no profit. But by the third year, we were ready to make changes. And so we tripled our sales and we actually made a profit. And then we tripled all our sales again and made more profit. And we grew, that was, back in 2007, 8, 9, 10. And then we grew exponentially, always with this emphasis of top line and bottom line. And I think all of us as entrepreneurs are on that journey of getting to the point where we say to ourselves, what does the bottom line look for me for my household, personal finances? And can I scale this to be an outsized number that's really going to change the trajectory of my family and personal income? And we're all on that journey. I think what happens a lot of times is we take the first step towards sales and we get so consumed in the activities and the busy work and the busyness and the grind and the hope and the energy to make sales, we forget our original goal. And we sometimes get so obsessed with, I need more sales, I need more sales, I need more sales. And to be honest, that's a real treadmill. And I think over the last decade, what Cinnamon and I have learned is that actually there's a point at which you don't need more sales to reach your target personal income and other goals. There's a profit margin you need to work on. And that's the object of our attention. And all things being equal, to be completely honest, I'd rather have a high 6-figure business with a crazy good profit margin than a 7-figure business with a bad profit margin. I mean, you want to make maximum profit from minimum customers, minimum sales,
100%.
Minimum products, minimum effort, in essence. And that's the journey we're all on. So you guys get it. I think the biggest challenge, in my view, as I've worked with people over the last few years, is to see consistently growing profits beyond what you might call a paycheck level. Because I think what happens is we all take our entrepreneurial journey with our own background in mind, our own 9-to-5 job or career, and we're trying to maybe match our 9-to-5 money, or maybe we're trying to replace it. But that's our mental level. It's our mental framework. And I see that as the biggest challenge, is to ask us as kitchen table entrepreneurs or small business owners to think about our business in such a way that we really manage for profit beyond our personal need, beyond our personal paycheck, and consistently growing those profits over time, I think is the biggest challenge of each of our businesses. I don't think sales is the biggest challenge in our community, at least. I think it's profitability and the consistent growth and knowing what to do with it. Like once you get past your personal need for income, what do you do with it? So these are my reflections on sort of the entrepreneurial journey, profitability journey, and the biggest challenge. Any thoughts on that, guys? And I know, Kyle, you're going to share some ideas with us as well, but reflections or ideas?
Go for it, Zach.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, and I'm going to go, maybe as you guys get to know me, I'm all about the numbers, really. And a lot of it's just to do with my background. When I started Yellowhammer, and it's really to still like this, the top line revenue numbers are great, but I'll take our P&L, flip it over, and what's our profit? And what is it? How do we get there? What can we do to make it higher? What can we do to get there? Really, and a lot of times, with like Jason was saying, selling sometimes less products, because there's this hidden cost of doing business for every transaction costs and things like that. And how do we minimize those things? And, how do we grow our profit margin by 0.5%, 1%, 2%? And how do we sustain that? And how do we keep it simple, and how do we simplify and kind of eliminate the waste?
Yeah, totally agree. Yep. Kyle, any thoughts before you go into your
Yeah,
section?
I mean, I think it is really the journey and the process that you outlined, and and we all sort of get on that journey, but I don't think we spend enough time because business is hard, and you have to be doing all of the things, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur in the business. We often don't take enough time to really step back and look at the business holistically because we're constantly in the weeds. And I think that leads to us making bad profit level decisions, even though we might be trying to push top line sales or push new marketing or push new advertising, because that's the journey, that's the treadmill that we're on. But we don't stop and say, is this really the outcome that I want to get with it? And then that stepping back and really thinking holistically about the business is part, I think, of why it makes a lot of sense to take part in a workshop like this, because it's going to force you to really think about those concepts clearly.
Yeah, I totally agree. Okay, let me see if I can continue on with our deck here. Interesting. Interesting. Sorry, guys, technical difficulties. Here we are. Okay. Yeah. Kyle, take us through this next idea. What are the consequences of a low profitability business?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you'll probably have even if you wrote this list out yourself, you could, many of us, all of us can write down different areas in which we've sort of gone through it. But I would say that really the first one is really that we don't have we as the owners sort of act as the emergency fund, right? Like we act as the fixers of our own sort of financial issues, and so you end up putting more money in instead of taking. It's the reverse of what you really want it to be, right? Like if you have profit, you're taking money out of the business to impact your personal finances. If you're not, you have to be putting money into the business. It starts to eat more than what it's actually producing, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
At second, I think that you have the lack ability to really scale and grow, and what that looks like is the lack ability to hire a team. It looks like there's opportunity cost. Zach mentioned sort of the hidden cost, but there's opportunity cost as well when you lack profit, because you can't take advantage and be a quick mover, take advantage of certain market conditions that may be beneficial and actually make you more profit. So lack of ability to take advantage of those good opportunities is another one. Inability to get good financing terms. Like there might be opportunities for you to actually leverage money at a wiser level and more advantageous to your business. But if you're not profitable, you're not going to be able to access that. And that's the first thing that they're going to look at. So if you're not thinking through the framework of profitability, like the lenders and the banks and the people that are actually going to give you this money at really favorable terms, you're not speaking the same language. Therefore, when you need it, you're not going to be able to get it, right? And that can be extremely problematic. And then really it's stress and frustration and burnout, and you feel like you're on this treadmill that just continues to go and go and go. And you really are just sort of getting burned out with the business because it's not really producing at the level that you want. And I think that can be something you really can struggle with, and everybody can, no matter what you're on your business, you can kind of feel the frustration with it at times. And then I think what that can lead to, right, is that you might just decide, you know what, I don't even want to do this business anymore. So, and instead of being able to sell this business, which would be an amazing outcome, we end up winding it down to actually end up just shutting the business down. And there are millions and millions and millions of businesses across the United States and the world, really, that don't sell, but they end up just getting shut down. And that should be an awakening moment for us when we start looking at those numbers, because the reality is if we don't really focus on profitability, that's the inevitable outcome of our business. Because what we've actually just created for ourselves, to Jason's point earlier, is the paycheck mindset. All you've done is really kind of created yourself a self-employment job that when you stop that job, you're done, right? No one's going to buy a job from you. They really want to buy a business. So you end up winding down to just to closure. And then you may end up having to just sell off assets, right? Or leave opportunity behind. You might have to shut down an actual marketplace or something because you don't have the ability to even scale or to going back to that point about taking advantage of good opportunities, what, for example, if you got approached to go into like a big physical retail box, like a Walmart or something like that. Well, in order to actually execute on that, you have to have the capital to actually pay for the inventory before you're going to get that check from Walmart. They're not going to pay you ahead of time usually. They're going to pay you after you've delivered the goods. So therefore, if you had 100,000 units that you had to order, how are you gonna pay for that? And that means might be leaving opportunity for competitors to actually step in to a marketplace, or even saying goodbye to a marketplace in general. Maybe you don't have enough inventory to truly support, selling completely on like eBay or Walmart.com or something like that. And now you have resellers, or you have other people, competitors even specifically, going in there and selling where you could have been really sort of the premier brand choice selection on that marketplace.
Wow. This is a powerful list, man. A lot of things stand out to me on this one. Zach, I'd love to get your reflections on this as well. I've mentioned to our own community, I think a few times that, Cinnamon and I have purchased, I think 12 brands. And then Kyle, you and I purchased a brand or, businesses. And so in almost all of those cases, they were people who were ready to be done.
Yeah.
And we were the buyer of, the common sense option to be the buyer. But if we hadn't been the buyer, I think in a good number of those scenarios, they would have just wound down to zero. And so we were sort of the buyer of last resort. But that the value then was transferred to us. Now we gave them what we thought was a fair price for what the assets were in their business. But that was those are critical moments. And there are so many businesses that literally, if they can't find a buyer because they don't have anything that's really sellable, if they don't have profit, that's marketable, I guess you could say, it's real tragedy. And I don't want people in our community to be in that situation, to be completely candid. You have to have profits to sell your business easily and gracefully. And so that's kind of the thing that stands out to me the most. Zach, any reflections on this list or something that stands out?
Yeah, well, really all of it does, because, in my past career, I prepared over 3,000 small business tax returns. I was probably on over 200 audits of small businesses. And these 7 points, I've seen them all in practice. And now I've been in business for myself for, going on 7 years. And I felt a lot of these, and I've seen a lot of these down, the line in my own business if I didn't make strategic changes to my own business. And, the biggest one to me this year has been, in the last fiscal year, if you will, since COVID really, was hiring a team that allows me to step back and actually be a CEO and not, the president, the vice president, the janitor, the packer, all the stuff that I have.
I bet you're a great bookkeeper too. Which
yeah, but when I was able to do that, that was really, of all these things, hiring a team and finding people you can trust, and allowing me to take a day off or a week off and not experience stress, frustration, burnout.
And this is a vicious cycle, isn't it? Because some of these lead to there's that virtuous spiral idea or phrase, and then there's the opposite, like the vicious spiral. If you have, for example, no profitability and you can't get loans at good terms, and then you're paying a ton of money in interest, it's destroying your profit. Whereas if you did have a loan at a crazy good term, it would, you'd be saving so much in expense dollars associated with that carrying cost that it increases your profits. And so just these, these big doors swing on little hinges, and these are just a set of negatives that can really down your ship completely.
Yeah. I would also say that these consequences have a tendency to compound as well. So the further that you get into it, the harder it is to actually sort of bring the ship on course, or bring the plane out of a nosedive, right? Like you have to put more effort in, right, to actually get the result. And that is also a challenge.
Yeah. Well, Zach, now that we've depressed everyone, we do have solutions that we can talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
But I just want to make one final comment, and that is, I think one of the biggest tragedies to me too is this process occurs, is that the whole time that we're in business, usually we have competitors in mind. Like, oh, these are my competitors. I know who they are. I'm competing against them. I want to beat them. When you exit unsuccessfully, you cede all the territory that you won.
Yeah.
All the SEO rankings for key phrases, all the BSR listings in Amazon for your
Mhm.
product, all of the reviews, all of the everything of value that you had created to make a successful competitive
Mhm.
dynamic occur. You cede all the territory to them,
Yep.
and then they just take over, and you're a ghost in the machine. There's something in investing called survivorship bias for mutual funds. And it just means that they always say mutual funds have a good return, but they don't count the ones that died,
Mhm.
that got totally shut down. And so there's this reality that in these marketplaces, the last man standing or the last company standing looks so great, has so much energy, but they might not have been the pioneer. They might not have had the best product. They might not have been the best. They just survived, and
Yeah.
profit lets you survive. Okay, so Zach, let's go into the more optimistic information here. What are your thoughts? How do we get to the point where we have solutions for low
yeah,
profitability
yeah.
businesses?
So one last point on the depressing stuff, if you will. You can. It's two ways to look at it. Really, you can look at it as it being depressing, or it just being part of being a business owner. Because I can
Yeah.
tell you, in really my short time in business, I've experienced just about all of these things.
Hmm.
And the advantage of knowing your numbers is I saw them all coming. And I saw I needed to make changes 6,
Mhm.
7, 8 months before these stress, frustration, becoming the emergency fund,
Yeah,
not having the ability to take advantage of good opportunities. Yeah, I can make the changes in the business and then position the business to still be there.
yeah, love it.
Um, and yeah, knowing your numbers, that's really the biggest thing. And I'll
Okay,
talk about this next week in one of our
yeah,
sessions. There's and we look at tons. Data is everything for our business.
hmm,
And there's a keyword set that we advertise under, some products under those keywords, that these keywords are worth millions a year in sales revenue. And it's us and it's 2 or 3 other competitors. And we were selling thousands of units a month of this keyword, these products under these keywords. And, when COVID hit, um, freight costs from China and Taiwan went through the roof. We used to pay $3,700 for a container. We've paid 27,000 now. As
wow,
high as 27,000. And we're in Alabama, so we're not even in the center of the country. We've got a port 300 miles south of us. So I know there's people paying a lot more than we are. But we're bringing this product in quarterly, 40-foot high cube container, selling thousands of units a month against a couple of competitors. Because of the freight increases, this product category, there's 4 products, no longer profitable. We're losing $3 or $4 a unit. Our competitors, they don't appear to know their numbers. They're still selling it at $24.99, $26.99, and $29.99. We're done with the product. We fired the product. We're out of it. Nobody's making any money on it right now. Maybe Amazon is, but none of the resellers are. And because we know our numbers, because we're capitalizing our inventory with the FOB cost, the duties and taxes, and assigning the correct amount of freight per unit to the individual units, we knew ahead of time, all right, we can't order this stuff. We can't order a 40-foot container. We're going to lose $10,000 on this container
yeah,
on top of what we're investing in the container just to buy the product. So, we've taken that capital and put it elsewhere. And, again, that's knowing your numbers. And then kind of the next thing we want to talk about is learning from the best methods. And, again, in our business, we look at it from we look at the results, but it's all a process for us. We know if we do A, B, C, and D every month, we do it well, we're going to get the result we want. We don't really have to focus on it. Just focus on the process, do everything consistently, do it right, and we'll get the results we want. And if we start to see the results are kind of going off path, then we've got to look at our process and make some changes. And then that kind of builds on the next one, modeling our systems from others who are successful. And, we talk about other successful mega businesses. We talk in our business at Yellowhammer, we talk about Jeff Bezos and Amazon, how they got from, 1996 getting really started to, going from books to selling everything to where they are. Local businesses to us, we know that have done well. We talk to those people. We're always trying to learn from maybe somebody that knows a little more than us, or maybe somebody that knows something, they've really got something locked down that we don't. And, that kind of builds on the last point about mentoring and getting a trusted advisor, whether it's marketing, finance, business management, warehousing, inventory controls, any little piece of, a business, there's nuances that, you may not know how to do, but somebody else can advise you, to make it simple. And then that's the biggest thing in everything that we do, the processes that lead us to the results. We try to keep it simple. And, at the end of every month, you kind of look at the results and we kind of look at our processes and we talk about it, and we spend an hour at the end of every month, and we talk with the team, and it's like, is it getting too complicated? Is something getting too complicated? Is something not making sense? And if it's not, then let's rethink the process, and, maybe it's just too complicated and we've got to get rid of this and do something else. So, we're always kind of our biggest critic, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. Great list, man. I love this. Kyle, I'd love your reflections on it as well. And then we'd love to open the floor for Q&A time as well. We're going to have plenty of time for Q&A. There's a, good group of people here watching us live. So feel free to pop question in the comments underneath wherever you're watching, YouTube or in the Facebook group. My reflection on this, Zach, is I think the one that stands out for me the most is the mentoring and getting a trusted advisor. And I've mentioned that my mentor is a guy named Ron. He runs Dairy Queen franchises and is an owner and also an operator of other people's franchises that they own passively. And he's a hardcore know your numbers guy because when you sell a cheeseburger for $3.99, you have to know your margin.
Right.
And so he's hardcore. He was the one who, I guess it's probably over, I think it was 2009 or 2010. He helped us set up QuickBooks in our business, showed us how he uses it. And we go to breakfast every Saturday morning. And so that's been over, well over a decade now. And we talk about life, but we also talk about business. And he has a mindset that just is very helpful to me. Somebody asked me recently when we were doing a podcast and I mentioned him. They said, well, he doesn't even know anything about any e-commerce. And I said, actually, that was helpful to me because I had to explain to him what we were doing and justify it to him with his hamburger brain, just, mindset. And so that was really helpful, I think, because then I couldn't use jargon. I couldn't use shiny object syndrome. I couldn't talk about, technical stuff that he didn't get. I had to make it very simple. And he's just been tremendously helpful to us over the years in many ways. So that one stands out to me. No, Kyle, anything on this list pique your interest?
Well, what I was sort of thinking about while Zach was explaining and kind of talking through the list was, what is the ROI of every dollar that comes into your business?
Yeah.
And it starts with knowing your numbers. You can't know what the outcome of your dollar that's coming in, sort of what it's producing, if you don't know your numbers. You're just going to be operating blind. And then really when you're learning from the best methods, you're learning from other people, other things that have actually proven historically how to produce better ROI on that dollar. And you're modeling systems from other people and other businesses that are successful that have proven to actually execute on that, to show how to get better ROI on every dollar that comes through. And then when you're talking to a mentor who's already done it, you can then ask them directly, like, hey, how are you taking the dollar that comes in and sort of maximizing that dollar to produce more, and really get the most advantage out of it. So I was kind of thinking about it through that lens. And one other point I want to make too about mentoring is, you know, obviously you can pay for trusted advisors, and you probably should. But if you have low profitability, that also is like, oh, like if I don't have any profit, how can I, you know, really get a trusted advisor? And to Jason's point, you can find people in your sphere, your circle, and you can just develop that relationship. That doesn't, it's going to cost you, might cost you breakfast if you're taking Ron out
every other week. He pays once, I pay once.
Exactly. So, you know, it's a good ROI. But you can also think about how who's in your network that you can reach out to now and sort of build that relationship. So it doesn't have to be money. But I will say this: if you find the right trusted advisor, the ROI on that is going to be amazing, right? And so I do think that those are important things to think through. It's like that dollar coming in, what's the ROI on that? How much more dollars is it creating at the back end of your business and your systems?
Yeah, that's right. It's just as a funny side note about Ron, my mentor, I've told people this, but I explained to him what I was doing with my kids when we were teaching them retail arbitrage, and they had to go on their summer trip, paying for it themselves by using retail arbitrage. He liked the idea so much he had his kids do it, and then he started doing garage sailing. Wouldn't you know, in the first year he did garage sailing, he made $80,000 of profit garage sailing because he found a whole storage unit too, full of Star Wars action figures by just doing garage sailing. And it's just like a profit brain person can come into almost any business model and just destroy. And that's what I think we learned from you, Zach, was, you know, a lot of people like to bag business models like, oh, that'll never work, or this one never works, or, you know, drop shipping is very not in vogue. Most people say drop shipping never works, or, you know, maybe they'll say, you know, wholesaling won't work, or being an affiliate won't work. The truth is, any profit brain operator can crush any model pretty much.
Yeah.
And you'll see them succeed because they know their numbers. They learn from the best methods. They have modeling of systems, and they have mentors in their life that have showed them how to really crush it financially. So anyway, this is great stuff, Zach. So let me just do another call for questions. So go ahead, pop in questions underneath this video, wherever you're watching it. And while those boot up, then I want to just mention again about the Profit Habits Workshop. So this is just a little tiny like appetizer of this conversation. We've got 2 full days of training that are coming up this next Monday and Tuesday that are all focused on profit habits. You will learn 17 specific profit habits that you can implement in your business. And you'll get them all in a consolidated one pass-through training video. But then we'll also have breakout sessions where Zach will camp on a habit and really geek out over it with everybody. And then I'm going to do one, and Kyle will do one, and then we'll do that for 2 days in a row, basically. There are also VIP sessions if you want to be in a small group and have Q&A time one-on-one, not one-on-one, but small group with Zach. And you'll get the workbook as a takeaway. You'll also get 2 bonus books, Pricing Power and Income Power. And these are books are revised and refreshed, and you're going to get the latest from them as ebooks. And they're really focused on 2 different things. Pricing Power book is focused on 13 pricing methodologies and a strategy for maximizing your pricing opportunities. So that's the gist of that training and book. And then the Income Power book is focused on the journey of your personal income and profitability, leading from career level efforts all the way to being a business owner. I started my career as a compensation analyst long ago, 1994, 95, 96. I was an HR guy, and I was a job description writer and a compensation analyst, and I'd work with managers on pay issues. So I have that lens to look through back in the olden days, and I bring that into the Income Power book. We also have 3 bonus tools, which I think are really going to be beneficial to people. We've got Zach's, what you would call CFO financial reports. Is that fair to say, Zach? Is that how you describe them?
Yeah, CFO. That's a good way to describe it. Yeah.
Okay, the CFO reports, which is a formatted, approach to looking at your financials that's really tailored for e-commerce operators. And here's the important thing. If you have a bookkeeper or CPA that's giving you like a P&L or whatever, and we've seen many clients we work with, and we'll say, what's your P&L? What do you got? And they'll be like, well, I don't really ever look at it because I don't understand it because my bookkeeper or CPA doesn't really prepare it in a way that makes any sense because they just work with realtors or, you hear all these stories. Well, what Zach's got is an e-commerce minded CFO reports that he'll give you as a bonus. And then we've also got the profit habits calculator. This is a calculator you can use to literally take the 17 profit habits and start to do what you would call pro forma, where you plug in, what the impact of those will be on your business and just see what could be possible within your specific numbers.
Yeah, that calculator I've played with is really cool.
You like it?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
I don't know why, but I'm always extra happy when Zach likes my stuff. Thank you, sir. It just makes me happy. So there's that. And then the other thing, the third bonus is we've got an annual planning framework that we give to everybody. In fact, we're teaching on this at 10 o'clock with our CEO small group. But we've got that framework, what we'll give to everybody. So it's a simple $69 2-day event. You can get replays. You can buy the replays for forever if you want them, but you don't have to. And you can join the VIP if you want to, but you don't have to. And so that's the gist of it. That's the goal of the whole thing. You can sign up. You can sign up at getprofithabits.com. And so that's the place to go. And I think I just ruined my deck here, but that's the web address, getprofithabits.com. And so check that out. And we'd love to have you join. It's Monday and Tuesday, and we'll see how it plays out. And going forward, we might do it again in the springtime, but no guarantees if it's, it is what currently only available on Monday and Tuesday. I guess I should say it that way. Okay, let's jump into Q&A. I have some questions that people have asked privately that I just tee up the question as a general question that we can answer. The first question that I heard from someone was, this sounds like Profit First or something like Profit First, Mike Machalowitz's book and system. Is it Profit First strategy, or how does it tie in? And the way I would say it is, I'm a huge fan of Profit First and Mike's book. I listened to it on audio, repeatedly. And the way I would describe his book, if you're not familiar with it, I'll just kind of tell you in general. He basically has a system that focuses on making sure you get paid first. And he develops a strategy because in his own business, he wasn't profitable. So he built a strategy for him getting profitable, and then he teaches it to other people. If you're already managing your business with profit, I would be interested to know whether that was a valuable book to you or if you really implemented a system or not. In our situation, his solution felt over-engineered and unnecessary because we were already profitable. And so we already knew we had profitability in our business. So a lot of his kind of technical steps that he proposed in that book, we just didn't feel like we needed and we didn't follow. And I think many people are in that situation. So what we're delivering for you is 17 strategies or methods or approaches to profitability in your business. It's not as formulaic, I guess you could say, as set up this, implement that, as Profit First is. Now, it's no critique of his book. I loved it, and I think it is a great place. And if you're not profitable, you should go get Profit First and read his book. But that's I think that's a kind of juxtaposition of us and this program versus that. I don't know, Zach, if you have any thoughts on that, if you're a Profit First reader or ever been into that, or
never read it.
Yeah. Okay.
I should probably write it down and read it though.
Yeah. There you go. Kyle, any thoughts on Profit First and kind of how it plays out compared to
I would agree with you. I found it to be an over-engineering of, it's like, and maybe for some people they need that over-engineering so that they actually implement it and they actually can execute on it. And I totally get that. And I think that's fine. For us, it just felt like more overhead burden to implement. And so we took the principles of it and
Yeah.
applied it to our own business in a way that made sense for us. And I think that's the goal. And that's how these profit habits are sort of designed, right? Okay, we're going to provide you with these principles and strategies, but you have to adapt it for your particular business and how you run it. And so it's not just going to be like copy A, go to B, because I don't think there's not going to be any sort of financial principle that real outside of make sure you have a P&L. That's, that's the thing you can copy, right? Just like make sure this is copy. But I don't think it's smart to just sort of copy and paste. I think you have to adapt it to your circumstances and your business for it to be effective and have long-term usability.
Yeah. Love it. Okay, let's keep going. So pop in questions if you have them, and I'll just pull them up here as they pop in if that's helpful. Eddie said, how have you adapted your cost tracking systems to attribute more accurately ad spend on Facebook and now profitability from email campaigns in light of the latest changes in iOS? Ooh, that's interesting, isn't it, Kyle? Any thoughts?
I feel like that question's coming to me. Yeah, I think that my thoughts on this are a couple layers deep. One, nobody knows currently how that's all going to play out. Facebook doesn't even know how their tracking is going to. They're still in the process of making that happen. I think that also attribution, because that's essentially kind of what you're asking, is a question about attribution of like, how do you attribute sales to specific channels digitally, right? Whether it be email marketing or Facebook ads or Google ads or SEO or whatever it is on your website. Attribution's always been hard. There hasn't been a real like clear cut, this is a simple way to do it because of the way people buy, right? So people buy by having multiple interactions with your brand. So they might see your email, they might actually Google you, go and search, then go find you. And then maybe they actually end up seeing an ad and they actually click on the ad, and that's what actually drives the purchase. So how do you attribute each of those interactions can become problematic. I think you try to simplify it as much as possible. First, make sure you just have your Google Analytics set up and you're looking at that. And then one of the things that you can do, and this is what actually Jason, this is what Jason calls the crazy Ivan. And a simple way to do that, if you're running a sales platform, let's say you're running Facebook ads and you're unsure of the overall net effect of the Facebook ads. Maybe you're like, I see the numbers, they say I'm making profit or making sales. Well, one thing you can do is just turn off those ads for a period of time. Maybe you give yourself a week or whatever, and you see what happens to your sales numbers on that. Do they fall off a cliff? Do they have a decline? Right. And you can always turn them back on. And, and there's pros and cons of, what that means in terms of the algorithm. But that is the truest, realist sense of testing, is what is the actual bottom line result.
Yeah. And does anybody know what that's a reference from in the terms of movies? Don't say, Kyle.
I know.
Anybody know? Pop it in the chat if you do. Zach, do you know what that reference is to? Oh, okay. We'll see if anybody knows. So it's a reference from a movie. I will also say, just as a commentary on this question, the question specifically is related to how do you know the profitability of advertising? But if you just macro up a lens or two higher, or go from 10,000 foot view to 30,000 foot view, part of that exercise is an attribution of marketing spend to channels. And one of the things that we work with a lot of our clients on that are omni-channel sellers is getting clarity on the channel's level expense and income. And that's part of having an e-commerce operation level of, CFO reports that literally clarify, okay, what am I talking about here? Am I talking about Shopify and what expense goes to that and rolls up to that? Or am I talking about AMS ads for Amazon? What expense rolls up to that? How do I categorize my email marketing? Because I send traffic to both platforms, or, all of them. And having that level of clarity is a first and most important level, in my view, so that you've got sales channels sorted in terms of both income and expense. And I think that'll help get at some of that, because ultimately all of the stuff that you're running in terms of ad spend is always a test. But you've got to be clear to what am I attributing that expense in my business, and really grow as sales channels over time, profitability. And, there are ultimately some sales channels where you will say to yourself, I'm making nothing happen here. in terms of profitability, why I'm on the sales channel. And it's a first, I guess, world problem, if that's still a phrase we can use here. First world problem is I've got 4 or 5 channels that I sell on successfully. Which one is the most profitable? And you literally, that's a higher level business, e-commerce operation than where many people are in our community. Sometimes people just sell on Amazon, but if you sell on 4 or 5 channels, then you have the opportunity to actively manage them for profitability. And when you see somebody operating that kind of e-commerce business, it's a whole nother like chessboard of options. It's like, oh wait, I'm just not managing profitability on Amazon for my Amazon products. I'm talking about Walmart. I'm talking about Shopify. I'm talking about, direct selling on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or, whatever else you could have hotwired together for different kinds of businesses. And so that's, I think, part of what can go into that as well. So, Zach, any thoughts on attribution of marketing expense and or how that you look at it in business?
Yeah, no, actually, and for us, and the thing about financial reporting and understanding financial information is, just because something works in my business or Jason's business or Kyle's business or someone else's, doesn't mean it's going to work in yours. It's very tailored to your business, and even looking at our business, looking at Yellowhammer, we sell on Amazon and we sell on eBay. We have our website, we have a retail store, and we do B2B sales. We call on customers because we do sell industrial products as well. And we look at them as, in a sense, as all different businesses.
Yeah.
Just because something works on Amazon doesn't mean
Yeah.
it's going to work on eBay.
Right.
It usually doesn't. And just because eBay, we're able to do this, we're maybe not able to do this on our website. And, there's even products in our business that we stock and we sell that we're not going to sell on Amazon, but do really well in our retail store, or, they do well for our inside sales team when he's calling on our industrial customers in the Southeast. And, kind of just going back to start, it's, it just takes a lot of refining. And you'll see too, my CFO level reports are kind of broad, if you will, because they have to be to have really in-depth financials to give to everybody. I would really have to talk to everybody that looks at these and kind of drill down and tell you need this and this and this, but you don't need this kind of thing.
So there's a starting point that people can customize and dial in for their own business. Sure. Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
one
awesome.
other quick thing I want to mention on sort of the advertising piece of it is one other mistake that can be made, especially if there's changes to Facebook or whatever it is, there's always going to be changes, is people get too hyper focused on a singular outcome. And that is, I'll have to get a purchaser. I have to optimize to get an actual sale with that channel. When there's confusion and there's murkiness around whether or not it's working, one strategy is to move up an abstraction layer, move up part of the customer journey level. And that is, instead of trying to get and acquire a customer, a purchaser with a Facebook ad, try to get them as a lead, get them as an email opt-in, because that's another sort of tangible focus point that's really, really clear, because it's direct A to B if you can get them to sign up. And if you can put people on your email list, whether it's using contests or giveaways or ebooks or digital products, ideally, do you make that move? That's a level that sort of gives you a lot more clarity.
Yep, absolutely right. Okay, we are going to have another call for questions. We've got just a couple minutes left, but I just want to remind people we start on Monday, bright and early, and you can sign up at getprofithabits.com. We'd love to have you join the workshop, and it's going to be a blast. You're going to be in a Facebook group with others, so you will get to share your knowledge and perspective. You get to ask questions. You'll hear from other people. Always take everyone's financial advice with grains of salt, but you know how it is. But many people in our community have great insights into different aspects of how they've set up their businesses, and this is an opportunity for us to share together and learn and grow together. And so, want to make sure we have answered every question. I'll just look again. Any other questions that are top of mind, feel free to pop them in. Zach or Kyle, any other final thoughts on the workshop, what you're looking forward to, or ideas related to how we're going to go forward next week?
Yeah, this financial information in general is not a exciting topic, but it's a necessary topic. And to me, and in practice, and now and in business and practice CPA, and now in business, what I've noticed that happens is when financial information gets complicated, and the reader of that financial information can't understand it, but even more problematic is when they can't explain it to someone else. Then you just kind of tuck it away, forget about it. I don't want to deal with it. And it kind of all comes back to keeping everything simple and something in a way that really anybody, not just an owner of the business or somebody that works in the business, can pick it up and understand it and see, hey, why is this business profitable? Why is it worth something? And if you can kind of answer those two things, then I think you have really good financial information, and you can make good decisions from that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Kyle, any concluding thoughts or ideas?
I'm just really excited to be in the group, have people collaborate, interact with these ideas and concepts, and really sort of figure out an action plan at the end of the 2 days to sort of implement, and then hopefully hear back from people and see what occurs. That's why we create content like this, is that so people put it into action and actually make improvements in their business and in their life.
Yeah, these are deep thought topics, and it's as far as asking questions on the spot, and even sometimes answering those questions on the spot is kind of tricky. So.
Yeah. No, this is great stuff, guys. I really appreciate it. So thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us today. We want to, just make sure that you've got as much value as possible. So go check out getprofithabits.com, and we'll go from there. The final invitational, I guess you could say, opportunity is we're working on what we might do is the first session on Monday morning early. We might do as an open session that people could jump into and see and watch and still sign up. So we're working through some of the technicals on that, but I think that'll maybe be possible. But don't delay. Just go sign up if you're ready to do this. Again, just as a recap, in the workshop, you're going to get 2 days of sessions, 6 specific sessions overall, and then VIP sessions if you'd like to join the VIP group. You're going to get the Profit Habits workbook. You're going to get the 2 bonus books, Pricing Power and Income Power. And then you're going to get 3 tools, the annual planning tool, the Profit Habits calculator, and the CFO financial reports template. And so $69, go jump on that. I know it's a busy time of year, and it's hard to fit stuff in like this, but I think if you'll take the time to focus on profitability in your business right now, early part of December, then it'll really, really help you finalize this year with clarity, and it'll help you set up yourself for 2022 and going forward with a better handle on how to go after profitability in your business. And that's the goal, and that's what we're passionate about and excited to see you implement in your business. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out today. Appreciate your expertise and insights. And thank you, everybody who's watched live. And if you're watching via replay and you have questions, you can certainly just ask them as a comment underneath. We'll try to monitor the groups and the YouTube channel as well to make sure that we pick up any comments that come in after the recording's over here. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm going to end it here.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.